So right behind me is my Ford F250 farm truck. Now, I don't live on a farm, but I do have some acreage, right? I have a few acres, and just maintaining that around the house, I wanted something that I could, fill with dirt and not have to worry about it. So that's where this thing came in. Now, a month or two ago, I had my good friend Ivan LaCroix from DIY Detail out, and he helped me polish this thing out. So we did a whole video on that. I'll link it up here for you guys so you can check that out if you'd like. But we were able to bring back the paint substantially. Now, the interior of this thing is a completely different story. I have not touched it, and it's pretty nasty. Let's be fair, it's nasty. So let me go ahead and take you guys inside real quick so you can see. And here is exactly what I'm talking about. So every inch of this thing, again, this is a county truck. It's, they maintain the engine and everything, but they didn't do a lot to keep this thing clean. So you can see all in here, it's all nasty. All through here, all this is all gunked up. You can see the dirt embedded in here, the steering wheel. And then the bench seat, also very, very dirty, but we also have this damage. So I was actually able to source a new bench seat. Now there is a little bit of carpet on these lower door panels here. And as you can see, it's quite stained. The carpet's not in the best shape at all. We're gonna be keeping this. So I will clean this up and get this all addressed. But in order to do all this, I'm gonna be using one product to get it all cleaned up. And that is going to be my brand new citrus-based all-purpose cleaner, Paineapp-all. And that is right here, guys. So this is a extremely universal product. Now, it does not contain, a lot of citrus-based cleaners contain D-limonene, and this does not. We have different active ingredients in there. Totally safe on your interiors and exteriors. You can use this as a pre-wash on the exterior as well, just at different dilutions. But today we're gonna focus on the interior capabilities of this product. Now, as I said, this bench seat is going to get replaced, so I don't need to clean this, but I do wanna show you a use case. So I'm gonna tape off a little square and show you a before and after using Paineapp-all on this vinyl seat. All right, guys, so we've got the area taped off here. I showed you some white tape. I tried to take it off the roll and it was the worst tape I've ever used. So switched over to blue tape. Here's our section now. For Paineapp-all on interiors, I typically use it either diluted 1 part product, 10 parts water, or 1 part product, 25 parts water. For the seat, I could go 110, but I just want to check and see. So we're going to go ahead and use 1 to 25 just to see how much cleaning ability we can get just with that low dilution ratio on this area. Now, for this entire interior, we're really only going to be using 3 products. We're going to be using the Paineapp-all, a Scrub Ninja from Auto Fiber, and a little detailing brush. Now, I could use a bunch of different brushes. I'm using this one because it's a short, really soft material. It's just going to help me get into all the vents and things like that. So, but just any brush would do. So anyways, for step number 1, we're gonna go ahead and take the Paineapp-all, diluted 1 part product, 25 parts water. I'm going to apply it directly to the Scrub Ninja. And basically this is just a brush material on a little applicator pad. Works phenomenally well. I love these things. And I'm going to apply it out of the truck. I don't want overspray getting on any area. Now, on this truck, it's not a big deal at all, but when I'm working on really high-end cars, I always spray outside of the vehicle so I don't accidentally get any overspray on things, on surfaces that I don't want it on. So, all right, so we've got my product on the applicator here. We're just gonna go ahead and start rubbing it in. As you can see, it's got some nice foaming action to it. We're just gonna work it in. The biggest thing with this is this vinyl, as you can see, there's texture to it. So you wanna make sure to pull all the dirt out of those textured areas. So it's gonna kind of go back and forth this way. Then we're gonna flip to this direction. Again, just working it from multiple directions so that we can pull out as much as we possibly can. Diagonal. Okay, diagonal the other way. But the foaming action will be helping to lift some of that stuff out as well. All right, now let me go ahead and grab a microfiber towel. We'll wipe this out and see what we got. As you can see though, tons of dirt coming out on the pad here on the Scrub Ninja. All right, we're gonna go and wipe this up. Just with a nice little microfiber. And we'll see if we need to go to 1 to 10 with this. There's still more dirt coming out of it. Now I can already tell it did a phenomenal job, like incredible job. You see how shiny this is? That's all contamination. We've got a nice matte finish here now that's all cleaned out. Still a little bit wet here. However, I don't know, I mean, let's look at it up close here. Okay, that versus this, you can see all that contamination built up like right here, all in those little areas, and in here it's nice and clean. So let's go ahead and pull the tape so we can get a good 50-50. Again, Honestly, in all honesty, I probably, if I was just going to attack this job as normal, I would probably have ran 1 to 10. So keep that in mind, but let's just see what we got here. All right, guys, so last piece of tape to go. And as you can see, the before and after is pretty substantial, right? Well, that's a little wet, so that's always a little deceiving. I don't want to be deceiving here. So we'll dry that out. And as you can see, that square looks way better. Now, looks like I missed some stuff here, or it might have just been carried over from that. And again, if I had gone with the 1 to 10, that would have been all good. But as you can see, that piece is night and day better. All right, guys, so there you have it. That's what you can expect even on a trashed, let's see, 1997, 2007, 2017, almost 30-year-old truck, farm style truck, right? It's just been used as a maintenance truck the whole time. Even at 1 part to 25 parts water, super dilutable, you get results like that. So now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is pull out that bench seat because again, we don't need it anymore. I have a new one. We'll do that and then I'll go ahead and show you guys exactly what we're gonna be working with and I'll start the process of getting this thing all cleaned up. So we got the seat out. It was literally just 4 bolts, really, really easy. Got it out and now we have access to everything. Now I did remove, this was underneath the seat, just a little bit of foam matting. It was like, this is gross. I should have gloves on. It's like sunflower seeds and stuff in it. As you can see, that's down there. Here's the old seat. You can see the clean spot. Right? So let's go ahead and take a gander now at the interior of this thing. Now, like I said, there's some damage here, guys. So how much this comes back, you know, let's be realistic here, but the inside is absolutely nasty. So what I'm going to do starting off, I'm just going to go ahead and start off by vacuuming up all of this excess dirt before I start going in to clean it. Now, obviously the reason for that is just so that I don't, you know, like obviously there's a lot of loose stuff here. So, but I don't want to dig that into the surface, right? I want to remove all the loose stuff and then go in with my cleaner and get this all dialed in. Same thing on the painted surface. I'm not going to go crazy here. We're just going to kind of clean that up really quickly. This is the part that I'm most concerned about. Now, for these purposes of the video, I'm going to be cleaning this thing up. Now, if I were just doing this on my own without making a video on it, I'd probably, this piece isn't hard to replace. I would probably just replace it, but I want to show you guys what we can get done with Paineapp-all. All right, guys, so I've got my trusty little Ryobi cordless wet dry vac here. This one is the 3-gallon, but they also make a 1-gallon. Incredible. I love these little units. They both have about the same amount of lifting power, so the 1-gallon is really all you need. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up. All right, guys, and just like that, quickly going over it, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the painted areas now. I'm actually gonna use, actually we use Paineapp-all. We're just gonna use it diluted 1 to 25 on the paint, just real quickly to get this leftover debris off. Alrighty, guys, so a lot of this is just gonna be heavy lifting with a lot of towels. Now, there's still plenty of little debris. Again, this is my farm truck, essentially, and I'm not too concerned with it in that regard. I'm not worried about scratching paint or anything like that underneath the surface here. As long as I'm not going through the panel, I don't want it to rust, obviously. But for all this, I'm just gonna go ahead and spray on Paineapp-all. Okay, just let it dwell a little bit. Now, why did I call this Paineapp-all? Again, it's a citrus-based all-purpose cleaner with a pineapple scent. You do definitely still smell the all-purpose cleaner in it, but you'll definitely get the waft of pineapple with it for sure. So I'm just letting that dwell a little bit, and then we're just going to lightly go over it with a microfiber to pick all this up. Now there'll be a couple areas that look at all that. There are going to be a couple areas we'll have to agitate a little bit, but we're going to see what we can achieve just with a light wipe down. I mean, it's coming up really, really well. So we'll do this and then we'll vacuum the area again. And after about 5 seconds of dwell time and then just a quick wipe, we went from this, all this disgustingness, to that. Looking really, really good. So now I'm just gonna do the same thing over here, get this all dialed in, and then we can start addressing the plastics. Now I'm being careful not to let it penetrate too much down this area. I don't wanna go into places where I can't get it. So just keep that in mind as well, but overall, really easy to do here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start working over this plastic area now. Because it's so bad, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the 1:10 dilution ratio just for this initial pickup. So what I'm gonna do is just try and get the bulk of it, right? So I'm gonna saturate the whole area just to let it, kind of like when you're talking about a pre-wash on the exterior, you want this to kind of break stuff down so you don't have to agitate quite as much. So that's all we're doing here. Loading it up and just letting it dwell for a little bit. Once I let it dwell, I'll start picking it up just with the microfiber towels. And then I'll come back at the 1:25 ratio, or even continue with this and start agitating with a brush. Actually, let's just go ahead and hit it with a, with the Scrub Ninja right now and see what kind of results we get. Again, it's so contaminated, I just don't want to burn through the Scrub Ninjas, but let's check. So here we go. At least we're gonna get a good visual of how nasty this is, because one side's contaminated, the other side's pretty new. Here we go. So we're using the contaminated side, but again, we'll see, as you can see here, the foaming action, lifting all that dirt out. All right, and it seems pretty good on this side at least, that we're gonna be able to get the job done just doing this. So that's great. On the other side, it's a little bit different. We'll see if we're able to do the same to achieve the same results, but you know, detailing is solving problems, right? So we'll see what happens when we get to that spot and adjust our method if we need to. Now, again, a lot of this is going to be agitating to get it loosened up and then picking it up with microfibers. We're gonna go through a few microfibers here. I could also hit this with the vacuum just to pick up this liquid. You can see that's completely hammered now. All right, so we got a towel. Just gonna start picking this up. Flip the towel to a new surface, continue picking it up. And again, same concept, guys, as we were doing with the seat. All these little grooves and texture in here, we need to get it out of there so that we get a nice result. So working it over a few times is just what's gonna be needed. Again, this is 30 plus years of contamination in this thing. So typically my dilution that I like to do, again, on the exteriors, I'll use like 1:5. On the carpets and things like that, carpets and upholstery, typically 1:10, and then everything else 1:25. I always say though, use the least invasive method first. So start your areas with 1:25 and see how it goes. If you don't need to go more than that, then great, save the chemical, right? No need, get the most impact out of it as you possibly can for the least amount of money. All right, guys, now as you see this drying out, in the deeper spots, I'm not getting it, right? Just that little Scrub Ninja's not getting, the fibers aren't long enough to get in there. Still way better, but I'm gonna go ahead and grab a drill brush now and agitate it that way. And this is one of those perfect cases where you can go to a little bit more aggressive drill brush as opposed to just the super soft ones. You can go a little more aggressive here to pull all this stuff out. Again, I already did all the heavy lifting and I don't want to fling stuff everywhere. So I'm just going to do a light pass with this. Okay. And go ahead and start agitating.
Now, as I said, Paineapp-all also works really, really well for carpets and upholstery cleaning. And in most cases, I usually use 1:10, but you can go up to 1:25, and that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just saturating the whole area. As you can see, there's a pretty good stain on the bottom left section of that little carpeted back area. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray that pretty significantly. I'm gonna let the chemical break down that contamination that's there. And then I will go ahead and just, make sure that I have good even coverage of everything else, and then come in with the drill brush. Now, when I go in with the drill brush, I will spend some extra time on that specific area. Here you go. You can see I'm just agitating it even, or adding more chemical to that area. So I will spend some time, special time on that with the drill brush and get that all removed.
All right, guys, so I don't know if you can tell, but it's starting, the sun's definitely starting to set and it's getting a little bit late. So I'm nervous, I'm not gonna be able to get the seats in before finishing everything. So what I'm gonna do for this is the inside, the floor is done. I'm gonna go ahead and put the seats in, and then I'll show you guys the end result of that. And then in the next video, we'll address all of the sides and dash to get all that stuff cleaned up as well as the carpeting on the back. Now, I did touch on some carpeting in the back here, which I'll show you. So again, this was just with Paineapp-all. and there was a giant stain right here that pulled it no problem. Again, it was diluted 1 to 10. I did not extract. I just hit it with the drill brush and then wiped it out. And you can still see some, some leftovers. Again, 30 years of dirt in this thing. So just from a quick pass, it substantially made it better. I'm good with that. Again, this is my farm truck, so I'm not too concerned with it going crazy, but it did remove some stains, which look fantastic. And then as you can see, the floors came out looking amazing. Now, again, I took out all the dirt and everything, all the dirt and debris with Paineapp-all. And then with anything, I did dress it with Gummy Fix from Kokemi. Just a great little dressing specifically for this, where it doesn't leave it as slick. Like I could use my Quivr Abyss, but that's gonna leave that surface really slick. So I used Gummy Fix and it looks like night and day better. All right, guys, so the saga continues. I bought this bench seat off of Facebook Marketplace. It was listed for a 1997 F250, which is exactly what this truck is. However, I did not measure it, and that is my fault. I should have measured it, because the mounting points on this are 48 inches apart from one side to the other, and on the mounting holes inside the truck are 42 inches apart. So it's not getting installed right now. Again, it is starting to get dark on me, so we will revisit this and finish out the interior of this, but I just don't know exactly when yet. I gotta sort this out. So anyways, Paineapp-all, fantastic cleaner. You can use it on all surfaces, interior, exterior, wheels and tires, different dilution ratios for each, but phenomenal cleaner. Again, a little goes a long way. You saw what we were able to do with the 1 to 25 ratio. Fantastic product. Get it at the House of Rags right now. Use code IMJOSHV for 10% off of it. And then I will be getting it on my personal website, dtlrsupply.com, soon as well. It's being shipped to me from their warehouse. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video. Make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell. We'll see you on the next one.